A family. That's what they told you in onboarding, isn't it? You remember the day. You got the branded water bottle, the cheap canvas tote bag, the zip-up hoodie with our logo on it. You sat in a glass-walled conference room eating lukewarm, catered sandwiches while an HR rep with a rehearsed smile clicked through a slide deck about our core values. They looked you in the eye and said that here, we are all one big family. Let me be the adult in the room. We are not a family. I have a family. I have a spouse, I have children, I have a golden retriever, and I would take a bullet for any of them. You? You are a line item. You are a resource unit with a designated salary band. And right now, whether you realize it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, you are sitting in one of 4 boxes on a grid I keep in my head. Stay till the end, and I'll tell you exactly which one you occupy. Most of you won't like the answer. Most of you will want to argue, but the truth doesn't care about your feelings. Here's the reality: no leadership seminar, no best-selling management book, and certainly no LinkedIn influencer will ever say out loud. When I walk through the floor, or when I look at the little squares on a Zoom call, I don't see people. I don't see your hobbies, your weekend plans, or your personal struggles. I see a matrix. 2 axes. Up the side, capability. Can you actually deliver the work to an exceptional standard, or do you just talk in circles about delivering? Do you solve problems, or do you just identify them and wait for me to tell you what to do? Across the bottom, commitment. Will you push through the friction? Will you take on the stress of the deadline, or do you start watching the clock at 4:30? Every single name on my team lands somewhere on that grid, and the distribution of those names is a mathematical certainty. It is almost always exactly the same. 20% carry me, 70% are entirely negotiable, and 10%, well, the 10% are a problem I am already solving. Let's start at the absolute bottom. Quadrant 1. Low skill, low effort, the dead weight. These are the people who miss deadlines, manufacture elaborate excuses, and need me to hold their hands through basic, repetitive tasks I shouldn't even have to think about. They spend more energy trying to look busy, seeing half the department on emails, scheduling meaningless alignment meetings, than they do actually working. With these people, I run a very quiet, internal keeper test. I ask myself, if you walked into my office tomorrow and said you were quitting, would I fight to keep you? Or would I feel a massive, overwhelming wave of relief? If the answer is relief, you're already gone. You just don't have the paperwork yet. I do. You think that 30-day performance improvement plan HR puts you on is a chance to turn things around? It is not. It is a legal shield for the corporation. It is a documented countdown with your signature at the bottom, carefully designed to ensure you can't sue us when I finally pull the trigger. Now, let's move over to the right. Quadrant 2. High commitment, low skill. The eager ones. The corporate golden retrievers. They have a phenomenal attitude. They are the first to volunteer for the extra project. They smile in every single meeting. They organize the team happy hours, and they genuinely buy into the family propaganda. And, bluntly, they are just not good enough. Their work is sloppy. They lack strategic vision. But here's what nobody tells you about corporate management. I don't discard you. You are too useful. I weaponize that enthusiasm. I extract every ounce of your blind loyalty. I will pair you with someone sharper, someone who actually knows what they are doing, and I let the sheer, crushing pressure of the workload do the teaching. We'll give it 90 days. Either your skill finally catches up to your relentless effort, and you become a genuinely valuable, underpaid asset, or it doesn't. You burn out. You start making mistakes. And that warmth you mistook for my loyalty, it quietly, systematically disappears, and I replace you with a cheaper, younger version of exactly who you used to be. Then there is my absolute favorite problem. Quadrant 3. High skill, low commitment. The cynics. You know exactly who you are. Brilliant, capable of almost anything. You could run circles around the rest of the department if you actually cared, but you don't. You are completely, intentionally checked out. You deliver the bare minimum, usually accompanied by a smirk, an eye roll, or a passive-aggressive comment on Slack about how the executive direction makes absolutely no sense. You think your cynicism makes you untouchable. You think your raw talent makes you immune to the system. You are wrong. It just makes you a target. I know exactly how to play you. People like you are driven by a desperate need to feel superior to everyone else in the room. So, I stroke the ego. I praise your unique, irreplaceable talent in front of the entire floor. And then, I hand you a goal so impossibly big, a project so difficult, that your own arrogance won't allow you to fail. You can't resist proving that you are the smartest person in the room. I don't need your passion. I just need your ego. I turn your disengagement into massive, high-quality output. For me. And finally, the top right, quadrant 4, high skill, high commitment, the golden 20%. These are the people who drive almost everything I get credit for in my quarterly executive reviews. They don't need managing. They don't need hand-holding. What they need is room. They need the illusion of power. So, I give them exactly what they crave. I give them a taste of authority, a new title. Director of Strategic Initiatives, Senior Vice President of whatever. I give them a tiny sliver of equity, just enough to put golden handcuffs on them. I bring them into the room where it happens. I ask for their opinions, and I make them feel like my absolute equals, like partners. I keep them so focused on their own ambition that they never quite notice they are sacrificing their nights, their weekends, and their youth to fund a vision that was always mine. It is brilliant. The very best ones literally build my empire, secure my massive annual bonus, and then look me in the eye and thank me for the opportunity. But you want to know the darkest part of this whole machine? The part that keeps you awake at night when you finally see it? It's what happens when the fiscal year ends, when the market turns, when the board demands a 10% reduction in operating costs to satisfy the shareholders. That is when the grid stops being a management tool and starts being an executioner's block. Quadrant 1, severed immediately, no hesitation. Quadrant 2, we cut the ones who cost the most and keep the ones desperate enough to do the work of 3 people for the salary of 1. Quadrant 3, the cynics, I let them go and tell them it's because they aren't a culture fit anymore, knowing full well I just don't want to pay their premium salaries when margins are tight. And Quadrant 4, the golden geese, I pull them into a private meeting, put my hand on their shoulder, and tell them how much I need them to step up and lead during this difficult transition. I give them all the work of the people I just fired, without a single cent of extra pay. And they do it, because they're in Quadrant 4. So, look in the mirror. Which box are you in? Don't lie to yourself because I already know. The exact moment you stop driving tangible, measurable results, you stop being an asset and you start being a liability. And I manage risk for a living. I prune the tree so the trunk can grow. Here is the part that should really bother you. The part that you should think about the next time you log on at 8 a.m. None of this is personal. When I shake your hand, when I ask about your kids, when I sign your birthday card, it is entirely transactional. That is exactly why it works. It is a machine, and you are simply a cog that will spin until it is worn out, at which point it will be replaced. Drop your quadrant in the comments. Be honest with yourself for once in your corporate life. And if you want to understand the exact next move they are going to make before they even schedule the calendar invite, you should subscribe. Knowing the matrix is the only way you stop being trapped inside a box on it.